I never thought I was going to buy one of these. I said I was never going to get into this, but this one was such a good price. I just had to get it. So this is an Evil Bay purchase that I picked up probably a couple of weeks ago. I ordered it. Just showed up at the door. Let's crack it open, see what we got. All right, so we got the box on the bench. Let's get the old knife out and see what we got. So like I said, I found this on Evil Bay a couple weeks ago. Just showed up at the door. Never thought I'd get into these kinds of things, but I guess the mood just hit me, I suppose. I don't know what to say. I'm a bit baffled myself. Maybe some of you guys can already tell what's coming out of the box. I'm pretty excited because according to the pictures, these looked like they were in very good shape. It's definitely worth putting in a bid on. So, as you can tell, they are pre-war. So this was from an estate find. Looked at this, the price was right. Everything looked to be complete, looked like it was there. And now that I'm seeing them in person, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Those wheels, they're not pitted and destroyed like they normally are. They may already be replicas, I don't know. They're looking fantastic though. The motion in it is free, it's not all gummed up. All the wiring seems to be connected when we give it a look first. I can see the light here. We've got the lights are still hooked up pretty good. They just need some bulbs in there. All the screws are in place. The paint, that's original paint. Definitely original paint. It's got some scratches, but for how old I think this is, I think we're in pretty good shape. It's got all of its little bits here. A Lionel 253. Now I'm going to have to look that up and see what year this is. I know nothing about the pre-war stuff. Like I said, it was just a good price. I thought I'd jump on it and grab myself one, and just to say I got a pre-war. And the other piece that came with it, we'll just put the locomotive off to the side here. It was a two-piece thing. This one, I'm guessing, would be the caboose. And we got a little floater in there, that's fine. Get that out. If it wants to come out, there we go. Free it from its plastic. Oh, and we've got, the light bulbs are included. Look at that. I've even got some lights. So this was really complete. Get off of there. So, I've got an 817 caboose and a 253 pre-war Lionel locomotive. And this little missing part here was included in the kit. That's it right there. So I'll have to drop this in a little bit later, put that all back together, but definitely original paint. It's got some kind of funky something on it over there, but that's all right. Everything's turning free. Everything's looking good. I mean, as far as rust goes, I'm pretty happy with the condition of this. Let's get the camera up a little bit. If I wanted to, I could probably buff that brass out a little bit more. Yeah. Tabs are all in good shape. This has never been monkeyed with. I can tell that right now. A little bit of ding. But definitely looking at the paint, that's original paint. Wow. Fantastic. So those really go together, eh? I'm not sure if they go together or not. I'm sure you guys will comment that in the section and let me know. But I got the light bulbs for this thing too, and that's fantastic. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take these screws out and I'm going to give it a quick look inside and just have a a peek and see if everything's hooked up and if there's no bare wires. Maybe I can throw this on a test track right now and see if we have a working locomotive. Because on the listing, it didn't say. 3, 4. Well, it's not rusted inside. That's good. I mean, the gears those are pretty dry. Could definitely use a little bit of lubrication in there. That's not a problem though. It's got brushes. I don't know what that plate looks like underneath. Maybe we can pop that off too while we're doing it. These screws are coming off really easy. I'm liking how little, if no rust at all, is left on this thing. Or left on this thing. On this. That tells me that this was probably very well taken care of. So I'm going to gently take this out so the brushes don't shoot out. That commutator looks fantastic. This whole thing is looking to be in very, very good shape. That's still got a lot of brush left. Especially for the year that I'm figuring this thing is. This has got to be at least from the 20s. I'm not sure until I look it up, but that's my best guesstimate right now, is that that's when it's from. So you can see there was a little bit of repair done to one of the lights where it was spliced in together, just like the number 8 locomotive that I had been working on. That was done to it too. The 2 wires going to the lights on either end of the locomotive were spliced into the main power. Okay, now I'm going to get my little toothpick scraper to get those spaces in between here. Let's draw that through. This one's really tight. Can't get nothing in there. All right. So there's that. There's my brushes. They're definitely looking clean. What's holding those in? Looks like the spring goes right in the top of them, and that's why they didn't shoot out. Fantastic. But I'll just give them a quick little wipe. There is not a lot of carbon residue on this at all. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera here, but this thing is in remarkable condition. Wow. I mean, that is clean. I've seen stuff from the 70s in way worse condition than this thing is. That's for sure. Oh, and I think what I'll do, I'm going to drop some oil in there, and I'm going to drop some oil on that gear. Just because she's definitely dry. Oh, just a little bit like that. Put my brush plate back on. Like so. This might be the quickest revival I've ever done. Go. I mean, it's even got both pickup rollers. I have not seen both pickup rollers on a lot of the pre-war stuff I've found. It's usually one of them is missing at least. So again, I'm just going to hit this gear with some oil real quick, just to maybe bring it back to life a little bit. Just spin that around. Oh, we lost the light wire. So we did lose that. That's okay. I'm pretty sure it'll still work. And that is one crusty wire too. Wow. That is definitely, that's got to be original. That is so hard. Holy smokes. I don't even know where it came from. I'll have to look back in the video to see. But I think I'm going to set up a test track. Let's drop this thing on, see what it does. Okay, so I got the test track set up. Got my transformer hooked up. Let's put some power to this and see what happens. If anything. There we go. Look at that. Right out of the box. It's a little sticky, but that's fine because I can see it's kicking up a lot of gunk out of these gears. So a little bit of a cleaning and she'll be good to go. 3, 4. And just to go over again, I got this because it was an excellent price. It was all together. These wheels looked like they were in perfect condition, and they are. They might actually be replacements. I'm still not sure. I can see a name on the bottom of them. Bowser. It doesn't say Lionel Corporation, so I'm guessing that that's a replica, which is fine. If it is, I don't care. I've had this on the test track already, and it runs pretty good, but I am going to do a bit of a cleaning on it. Now, I'm not going to do a full teardown of this because I do believe in the if it ain't broke, don't fix it frame of mind, especially on something that's almost 100 years old and does actually work. So what I'm going to do is, I know this is fairly dirty inside. I'm going to take the shell off. I'm going to remove the motor from the black frame as much as I can, but I am not going to pull these wheels off. And I'm going to try not to disturb the wiring too much so that I have to resolder bits and pieces. Now, what I've seen so far, everything that goes to the terminal on this, everything that goes to the direction control, which is right here, is all screwed down and nothing soldered. There's nothing broken in here. All of these are good and tight. The direction control works perfectly fine. So, like I said, I'm going to try to do the least amount of damage to this as I can. So we're going to reach in, and to get these lights out, they're just sitting in the slots here. So they just lift out. First you got to take the bulbs out. I forget about that all the time. The bulbs are what's holding those tabs in, really. So we just unscrew them, put them over off to the side. It is a bit of a new learning curve for me with this locomotive. And we just pull them out. And again, these aren't soldered either. They're screwed on just like that. It looks like my electrical tape has dried up and come off, so I'm going to replace that. Now, to get this motor out of here, there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the frame will just lift off of the motor itself. But I don't know that I really need to do that. Let's do it. Let's just do it carefully. So, because there, like I said, there's a lot of old dirt and hair on here. Actually, I should clean out my magnetic tray and make some room for these screws, because these are all spare parts screws and not that important. Not as important as the ones I'm pulling off of this and need to keep track of. So, there's the 2 screws for the body, or to hold the shell on. And we are now taking the screws off of the frame so we can get this motor out. And the more I'm looking at the wiring on this thing, the more I'm thinking this is original wire on this, because this insulation, this is pretty dry. And I know on the number 8 standard gauge that I worked on, it originally, I read it had all black wiring, wasn't color coded, and that's exactly what this is. And they're pretty much the same age, from the same era. So I'm guessing this wiring is original. These wheels definitely can't be. Those are way too clean looking. But nonetheless, I am not going to pull those off. No way. Because they may not like being pulled off, and they are set in perfectly as they are right now. So we'll go back to the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm going to take the brush plate thingy off again, and I'm going to see, can I pull this through and give this a little bit of a clean here. No, I can't, because it is fixed to this gear, and this gear is not coming out. So I would probably have to pop that gear off somehow, and I'm not going to do that either. So what I am going to do, though, is I'm just going to get some of this old grease off here. And what I'm going to do to get that old grease off is I'm going to get a rag, and I'm going to get some penetrating oil. I'm going to kind of use it as more of a degreaser in this case than anything else, only because I don't have any degreaser. So we're just going to kind of wash this down with penetrating oil, and it's already doing a fantastic job of it. So this thing wasn't really in that bad a shape in the first place. The other thing I'm paying very close attention to is how much I am moving this, because I don't want any of these solder joints to come off, or I will be into taking the wheels off, and I don't want to do that at all. So we're just going to kind of wipe this excess off here as best as I can get to it. And it's coming up real nice, really easily. Maybe I'll just wipe the top of this down too. Get all of this fuzz off of it. This thing is in amazing shape. I gotta think someone has taken a lot of care with this locomotive before I got it. Apparently the seller got it at an estate sale, so whatever estate he got it from, they looked after this, clearly, because it has no rust on it. I mean, the screws have a little bit of surface rust on them, but they are far from rusty that I needed to hit them with penetrated cleaner just to get them out. Not the case at all. Just dig in there and get some of that out. Try to clear off these axles a little bit. Get some of the gunk off of them. Then I can hit them with some oil as well. I mean, the fact that this thing has both of its contact rollers still, I think, is amazing, because I have not seen one myself around here that has that. And again, I'm in Canada. I really find that there's just not a lot of demand for Prewar Lionel stuff around here, especially this style of Prewar. The 1688 and some of the more coming into the steam engine look stuff is a little more popular. I've seen some clips of some train shows out in the States, and there's a good selection of pre-war stuff. I've seen a lot of guys on the Lionel Facebook groups that have posted their pre-war locomotive layouts, but something that you don't find here in Canada. Not that much of it anyways. So, continuing to wipe down this frame, getting all of this old built up stuff off. Now, normally I would go ahead and pop these wheels off so I can really get in there, maybe lift these gears out and really give it a good clean, but like I said, it's all coming down to these wheels, and I don't want to mess with them at all because they're just perfect the way they are. They're perfectly set in, they're perfectly straight, they're in perfect condition, and I am not going to be the one that buggers it up. You can see some dust built up around the axles there and lint. A little bit of solidified grease, so I'm going to kind of work that out gently with my little scratch awl and a flathead screwdriver. Kind of dig around there. I'm going to take my penetrating oil and I'm going to send some down into those axles because I can't grease them up properly without taking the wheels off, which is what I would normally do. And of course, if you guys have any suggestions, go right ahead and fire them off, and I will definitely take notes because I don't really have a lot of experience with pre-war stuff, and I will take all of the knowledge that I can get. I'm going to get my wheel bearing grease and put a little bit on these gears. So I'm not going to coat them heavily. That looks good. I can work this around also with the screwdriver a little bit. Some on the bottom here. Back it up in there. I'm going to quickly just clean off this commutator one more time. Maybe at the next train show I'll find myself some more cars, because all this one came with was a caboose. Maybe show that later in the video. It is also complete. It has its brass ends on it, and it has the little red lenses in both ends, which I'm guessing is a good thing to have. Now we'll put the cover back on. Oh, it's this way. I had it backwards. That's right, I heard you. I heard yous all yelling at me. There we go. Now I got it. Live and learn, right? So let's put the screws back down on it. Snug all that in. And let's put this through again. All lined up. We can drop our screws in and we can start buttoning this up and then get it back on the track where it belongs. It's interesting, I noticed the only solder points that I saw was coming from the power and the field, going to the field. Everything else is screw terminals. I mean, it makes things a lot easier to fix, that's for sure. You don't have to worry about broken solder joints. That's it. I might wipe down this frame here. It's got some kind of staining on it up front here. It's like something has been building up on it. I'm not sure what that is. Not coming off either. Oh, there we go. Fingernail took care of that. So anyways, I'm going to keep working away at this for a bit. And then I'm going to throw it on the track. Throw the shell back on first. Throw it on the track, send her around. So I'll meet you guys over there in a little bit.